Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for tonight. We are talking Tuesday, November 12th. My best NBA player prop picks for tonight. I'm going to have 4 for you guys to lock in. Now, it's been a rough NBA season overall, but we've been on a pretty nice run recently. That continued yesterday. I posted my NBA player prop picks, both to my Dub Club, posted them to Twitter as well via a Newsweek article. We got 2 of those 3 plays to cash, including cashing out a ladder play as well. So we got Şengün 20 plus points, and we cashed out the 25 plus point ladder as well. We cashed out Julian Champagnie 12 plus points at a juicy plus 145 odd price. The only play we missed was Darius Garland, 8 plus assists. Didn't even come close to that, but it was a nice day overall, which we desperately needed, up 2.2 units yesterday. That gives us 3 straight profitable days betting on the NBA after the season we had to start, desperately needed. We're still down on the year, down over 5 units, as we have not quite worked our way back to a even breaking even, but we are well on our way after how these past couple days have gone. So hopefully we can continue that hot streak tonight. Again, I have 4 plays for you guys to lock in. Just remember to like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And let's get right into it. Play number 1. We're looking at the Heat versus Pistons game, and I'm taking Jaylen Duren over 9.5 rebounds. This is best offered at -120 odds at Fliff. You can also get it at -125 at DraftKings if you don't use Fliff. But this play here on Duren, it's a classic system play. We're taking center rebound prop overs against the Miami Heat. We were on this play over the weekend with Rudy Gobert. He ended that game with 13 rebounds on an over-under of 11.5. Cleared it easily. We could have even laddered it up some more. And you look at the entire season, the Heat have allowed the most rebounds to centers in the entire NBA. And if you look at props.cash, they are the 3rd best matchup specifically for center rebound props. I love looking at props.cash for that metric, because just allowing the raw number of rebounds doesn't always mean that the players are also consistently hitting their rebound prop over, depending on what the over under is and stuff like that. So it's nice to see that most rebounds allowed to centers, 3rd best matchup for center rebound props. And just go through their game log. It's just obscene how many rebounds they allow to starting centers. Basically, every single starting center against them at least gets to the 10 plus rebound number. That obviously we need to cash this out for Jaylen Duren. And more often than not, players like Rudy Gobert have an over under above 9.5, so they need to get more than 10, and they still cash that out as well. As I mentioned, just going through some of the highlights here. Rudy Gobert, 13 rebounds on an over under of 11.5. Nikola Jokic, 11 rebounds. His over-under was higher than that, so he did not cash the over. Still got to 11 rebounds. Jusuf Nurkic, 18 rebounds on an over-under of 10.5. Domantas Sabonis, 16 rebounds on an over-under of 13.5. Karl Anthony Towns, 13 rebounds on an over-under of 10.5. And we saw this exact matchup at the end of October. Jaylen Duren collected 11 rebounds. His over-under in that game was 10.5. And in that same exact game, the Pistons' backup center, Isaiah Stewart, had 15 rebounds as well. So combined 26 rebounds between the center and the backup center. And the backup even had more, which that could easily flip in this game. Now, the risk here with Duren is it's his first game in about a week. He missed a couple games, like 2, with an ankle injury. So he only missed 2 games, and he had less than a week off. So it's not like he's missed a month or anything like that. So I don't think his minutes are going to be extremely cut or anything like that. And his rebound prop is normally 10.5 or 11.5. So the fact that he might play limited minutes, that's being priced into the prop and what the books are giving it out at. So we're getting it at 9.5 as opposed to 10.5 or 11.5. The thing with Jaylen Duren, he's not the type of center that's going to play a bunch of minutes anyways, right? He's not going to play in the high 30s or anything like that. He's only played above like 31 or more minutes once this year. So we don't really need him to get to a super high number of playing time to cash this. You look at the last game he played before the injury, 14 rebounds in 23.9 minutes. He could easily do that exact thing again in a juicy matchup against the Miami Heat. That's our first play. Next up, play number 2. We're going to the Hawks versus Celtics game, and I'm taking Clint Capela under 19.5 points plus rebounds, -110 odds at BetMGM. So this is our first and only under play of the day, fading Clint Capela, and what's just a horrible matchup for him against the Celtics. It's a horrible matchup in just a bunch of ways for Clint Capela. It's just not a good matchup for him to stay on the floor. It's a bad matchup for him to collect a bunch of rebounds. and it's a bad matchup for him to score a bunch of points. So you might as well just take both of them combined. The Celtics, especially when they're healthy, which they're not right now, but regardless, they almost always have 5 shooters on the floor. Now they're playing a backup center that can't quite shoot right now. They're kind of splitting time with him and a couple other guys. So there might be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes per game where they don't have 5 shooters on the floor, but generally they do, which means that a guy like Clint Capela, rim running, stick to the paint, can't really move his feet or guard the perimeter, guys like that just get played right off the floor. And the Celtics are really bad in matchup. Not only that, let's pretend he's playing 38 minutes. The Celtics are really bad matchup for the way in which Clint Capela scores, and they're really bad matchup for center rebound props as well. So not only are we projecting him to play limited minutes, he also just has a bad matchup in general against the Celtics. It's a way better matchup for Onyeka Okongwu of the Hawks. Okongwu, much more athletic, is much better at guarding space, and can move his feet on the perimeter. And the Celtics, the reason why they're a bad matchup for center rebound props, they take a ton of jump shots, right? Teams that take a ton of jump shots, generally that doesn't lead to rebounds for centers. The Celtics take the 4th fewest shot attempts in the restricted area, which means that if you miss a jump shot from 3-point range, it's missing farther off the rim, which leads to more rebounds for guards as opposed to centers. So with that thought in mind, the Celtics are currently the worst matchup in the NBA for center rebound props. Literally the worst matchup for center rebound props. You want to look at a points perspective. Clint Capela scores the majority of his points as the pick and roll roll man. The Celtics, they don't allow really any points to rolling big men. On the year, they've allowed the 4th fewest points per game to specifically the pick and roll roll man. And they're also the worst matchup for center point props as well. So to confirm, per props.cash, the Celtics are the worst matchup for center rebound props and the worst matchup for center point props as well. That's crazy that they're number 1 for both. And on a related note, the last time these two teams played, about a week ago, Clint Capela only played 17 minutes, scored 2 points, collected 5 rebounds on only 9 rebound chances. You look at overall, 4 straight and 6 of the last 7 centers against the Celtics have gone under their point plus rebounds prop. The only one that went over was Onyeka Okongwu, as referenced earlier, who's much better suited for this matchup. Would not be a total shock to see Capela play fewer than 20 minutes, not even get close to this number. Let's hope that happens, cashing out this under for us. Next up, our third pick of the video, Timberwolves versus Blazers game. I'm taking Anthony Edwards over 8.5 first quarter points plus 100 odds at Bet365. You can also get this at Hard Rock and ESPN Bet as well at the same price. So admittedly, this is a pretty high number for someone to need to reach in the first quarter. 9 points is a lot, but there's a lot of good reasons why we think that Anthony Edwards can get there. Number 1, he'll play the entire first quarter. He's going to play all 12 minutes. So unless he gets hurt, unless he gets in like weird foul trouble, which is rare, he'll play all 12 minutes. He's literally done that in 7 straight games, played all 12 minutes in the first quarter. So something catastrophic would need to happen for that to not be the case tonight. Along with that, he also shoots a ton in the first quarter as well. If you look at this, all of the games in which he's played the entire first quarter, which again, it'd be shocking if he didn't. He only hasn't in 2 games this year. So all of those games, he averages about 7 field goal attempts per quarter, and more importantly, about just above 4 3-point attempts per quarter, per first quarter as well. So if you're getting up 7 shots, 4 of which are 3-pointers, you don't really need to make that many of your shots. I mean, you go 4 of 7, you're cashing this out more often than not, and that's not a crazy ask for Anthony Edwards, especially in a plus matchup against the Blazers. And really, it's that volume combined with the 3-point volume as well. It's really easy to see him to get to 9 points. It's a number that Anthony Edwards has hit. He's gotten 9 points in 4 of 8 games in which he's played all 12 minutes. So he's done it in exactly half, but you look into that, 2 of the times he went under, he scored exactly 8 points. That would be frustrating. We would have just gotten hooked on that one. It could happen, of course, but shows that the floor is there. Another game in which he went under, he scored exactly 7 points. So 3 times he was just 1 bucket away. Twice he was 1 point away. And the only time this year in which he scored fewer than 7 points in the first quarter, that was actually the last game that Anthony Edwards played in. It was against the Miami Heat, a much, much tougher defense than this Blazers defense. And more importantly, he still took 9 attempts in the first quarter as well. If you're telling me he's going to shoot 9 times, I'll gladly take my chances that he will also score 8 points. He just couldn't make anything last game. He was shot 2 for 9 in the first quarter, and he shot 8 of 24 in that game overall. Just an off game for Anthony Edwards. Luckily, great opportunity to have a much, much better game A much better matchup against a bad Portland defense, a Portland defense that he just played and went off. He scored 9 points in the first quarter, cashing this over for us. He scored 37 points in that game overall. It's just a tough matchup for the Blazers defense, who allow a ton of three-pointers. That's a death sentence for Anthony Edwards, who's taken like 14 three-pointers per game. He took 14 last game, 15 the game before, just shooting a crazy amount. And on a related note, the Blazers are the second best matchup for shooting guard point props in the entire NBA per props.cash. They've allowed the 5th most points to shooting guards in general. And this was shocking. 13 of the last 14 shooting guards per props.cash have hit their point over prop. Now, they can't tell you whether that was first quarter specific. They can only look at the full game. But either way, players are scoring a bunch of points against, shooting guards are scoring a bunch of points against the Blazers. Anthony Edwards, after a cold game last time out where he couldn't make anything, the guess here is that he comes out hot. The Timberwolves also lost that game, so he's also probably going to want to come out hot, get them back in their winning ways. 9 points in the first quarter. He's going to play all 12 minutes. Let's hope he gets there. That's our third play. Lastly, fourth and final pick of the video, Mavericks versus Warriors game. I'm taking Klay Thompson, 4+ made three-pointers, +140 odds at FanDuel. So this play on Klay Thompson fits a bunch of different categories, right? That's why it's a play even at the high price of +140. Great play on Klay Thompson. For starters, my favorite thing to do here, we get to fade recent results on Klay Thompson's three-point prop. Admittedly, he has not shot well recently. That just makes me want to bet his over even more. He made at least 4 three-pointers in the first 3 games of the season for the Mavericks. Played really, really well to begin the year. He's only done it in 1 of 7 games since. And you look at his last 2 games alone, a combined 1 of 13 from three-point range. Really not great. That also makes it the perfect time to buy back in on his three-point prop for tonight, especially in a good matchup against the Warriors. So the play, reason number 1, this is a play, fade recent results. Reason number 2, juicy matchup against the Warriors. The Warriors defense, the way they play, they limit pull-up three-point opportunities. They allow the 3rd fewest three-point attempts in the entire NBA. That's why not a Luka game, not a Kyrie Irving game. However, on the other side of that, they allow the 3rd most catch-and-shoot three-point attempts in the NBA as well. So 3rd fewest pull-up, 3rd most catch-and-shoot. Obviously, Klay Thompson shoots a ton of catch-and-shoot three-pointers. He actually has attempted the 2nd most catch-and-shoot three-pointers in the entire NBA, and he's made the 3rd most. So he's shooting a lot, he's making a lot. And on a related note, the Warriors allow the 3rd most spot-up points per game as well. Generally, allowing spot-up point opportunities is very positively correlated to catch-and-shoot three-point opportunities as well. So it's a good matchup for Klay Thompson's three-point prop. We get the opportunity to fade recent results. That's points number 1 and 2. And then lastly, and I'm saving this last on purpose because you really can't put any data metric on this, it's a revenge spot. You know Klay Thompson's going to want to go off going back to the Bay Area. It's his first game against Golden State, against the Warriors. That is not as much why I'm on it. I don't put a ton of stock into the revenge narrative. If it even helps him 5%, then we'll take it. Really, it's a play because of the matchup and because we get to fade recent results, making this a 1-unit McSlam on Klay Thompson, even at the +140 odds. And that's all we got. 4 bangers for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then, of course, the last thing that I will mention is the last thing I mention at the end of every video is that I do have a Dub Club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month. If you're not familiar, all you need to know about Dub Club is it's a service you can sign up for to have people like me send picks to people like you if you're interested. $5 a month, it gets everything sent directly to your phone via text, email, or Telegram. So like this past week I was traveling, I was only posting NFL YouTube videos. I sent out NBA picks to my Dub Club. I also sent them to Twitter as well. So if you don't always have time to watch the YouTube videos, or you don't always care to watch the YouTube videos, or by the time you watch them, the odds change, unfortunately, I can't help it if the odds move over the course of the day. But if you're on my Dub Club, you can get everything exactly at the same price that I lock it in at. So again, if you're interested, check that out. If you're not interested, no problem. You can still get everything for free on YouTube and on Twitter. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.